Hi folks, I'm Aslin Bloor from AZ Entertainment and The Reading Room, your friendly Google Plus book club, I like to call it. Today is the very first episode in our book club HOA series, and we will be talking about the book or the movie of the moment, The 100-Foot Journey. Joining me today are three friends from The Reading Room. I'm going to quickly ask them to introduce themselves. From my left, Annabelle Howard.
Oh, okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Annabelle. I think I'm known on here mostly for doing education, Big Fun Education. I co-founder of a non-profit, and I'm always encouraging kids to read, so I thought I'd better walk the walk, read something myself.
Good idea. Now, I think it's Emma's first HOA, so I'm just going to go over to Lisa, just so Emma gets two examples. Lisa, over to you.
Hi, my name's Lisa. I am in the book club. I have a food blog. I live in the south of France, but I'm from New Zealand. There you go. So now you know me. I read the book, which is the most important bit.
Yeah, that's right. And now we go over to Emma Julia, who's in London. Emma, do you want to just introduce yourself? Is this your first HOA then?
Yeah, my first. I'm a proper baby. Yeah, I'm a blogger. I blog about a lot of London sort of travel, food, books. Books. So yeah, enjoying it.
Cool, excellent. Emma blogs about, she blogs about all sorts of things, whereas Lisa and I blog about food predominantly. Emma blogs about travel, books, and everything. So right, we are talking about the 100-Foot Journey. Emma, have you finished the book?
I have. I finished it in a day.
That's right.
I could not put it down. There was something about it that just clicked in my head, and I read it. I do it everything. I read it walking.
Kids may be watching this. Not while crossing the road, of course, right?
I'm not crossing the road. Just be very careful. You might want to.
Right, then I tell you what. Since you read the book very quickly in a day, do you want to give us your take on the book?
I really enjoyed it. It was like, for me, it was like reading an incredibly long blog post, very personal, very voluptuous, probably a bit OTT, but I loved it. And there was something about it that about the travelling and all the journey he goes through, which I found quite fascinating, a little bit unbelievable in some ways. Yeah, it was just like the journey that they've made to end up in a tiny little French village. It was just a bit like,
Sure, the convenience. But then I guess I mean, with books, you have different genres and different qualities of books. Some books you're willing to suspend belief, and some books you expect a little bit more. I mean, I think I agree. I've read that a lot, but oh wow, of all the places, you could have landed, you landed in this particular picturesque French town. But I thought, hey, it's fantasy, so I was happy to accept that. What did you think of that, Lisa?
Me? Let's see. Well, I did really enjoy the first half of the book, where they are in the picturesque village, with the incredibly happen to have a Michelin star restaurant across from them, which I don't find living in France so believable. And anyway, but that's okay. That doesn't matter. I really enjoyed the first part, but then when Hassan, the main character, well, the kind of main character, goes to Paris, I think I lost the plot a bit, honestly. I got bored in that bit, and as I read just before I go to sleep, it took me a long time because I kept falling asleep in the last half. So, yeah, the first bit I really liked, the second bit not so much. And I would be interested. I haven't seen the movie. It's only just come out here, and I haven't seen it. But I would be very curious to see if they cut that last bit a bit, because to make it more. Because the bit about the Indian family and the fact that they go to this little village in the Jura is. And with the cooking and the what's her name, Madame Morais. Yeah, that bit was pretty cool. I liked that bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much.
Annabelle, your overall thoughts, since that's what we're doing, overall thoughts then.
Yeah, overall thoughts is I agree with Lisa. It was the sort of the cultural juxtaposition of the Indian family running a restaurant compared with the French way of running a restaurant. I found that quite interesting, and how they rubbed each other the wrong way. But it was the sort of the authorial voice wasn't consistent throughout. The point of view wasn't consistent throughout. It went from I to the I point of view to sort of the omniscient point of view, who, you know, the one who knows everything, because the I couldn't have known what was going on in Mallory's, you know, house, etc. So just from a writer's point of view, that bothered me. But again, just like Lisa, it could have been me. I was just about to fall asleep because I read, you know, like it's like my after 12 hours on here on the computer, I allow myself to read. So I probably wasn't in the most, you know, clear-headed kind of way when I read it, but there seems something a little bit off there. And then I also thought that the food analogies were just forced a little bit here and there. It became a bit irritating. Yeah, some of them were okay, but some of them were like, come on,
the food? Did you say the food?
The analogies is like, I don't know, I can't even think of one. I thought as I went through, if I was being a really good student, I would have taken notes, you know, but there was, you know, I can't think of what, but, you know, her hair was as messy as spaghetti. I mean, I can't think of one. I just made that up. But do you know what I mean? It got like, oh, come on now. That's getting just so transparent that it's distracting.
Yes. What if you approached the whole book from this lens, from the fact that, okay, take it as a caricature, the whole book. The characters are going to be OTT. The food description's going to be OTT. The coincidences, you know, because the perhaps that was the author's Morais's take. That was the angle with which he was coming. He was doing an over-the-top representation of the characters and the food. What if you approached it from that angle?
Yeah, that
would work better. Would you are you able to take it in better?
Probably. I'd be more forgiving, wouldn't I?
Emma, what do you think?
Well, it was written originally to become a screenplay, so I think if you look at it from that angle, it's made as a movie, isn't it? It's almost written as a movie. You know, they can gloss over a couple of bits that they might not want to worry about, but they can sort of go over the top on other bits and pieces. And I think reading it that way, you're a bit more forgiving. Because I accidentally read the short guide to how the movie is going to be made before I read the book.
Accidentally.
It didn't give anything away. Like, there was no plot, but it was sort of more of the background on how it came to be. And
so was the book, because actually that's the okay, I have the book as I would just said. Look, I have the cover.
The rest of us have it in e-format, I think.
Yeah. I have the book that has the movie cover because that just happens to be what came. Was the book written to be a movie, or was it written and then made into a movie? Because it felt, when I read it, I felt like it was like a screenplay, more or less.
I don't think so, you know. I don't know. I have yet to come across something that says that. I know it was written, that the idea started because of a suggestion by his friend, the famous...
You said Morais, someone's name with M, but I didn't know. You said, of course you know. Richard
Morais's friend. I can't believe I forgot his name. Okay, anybody in the audience can remember who the book is in tribute to? Please.
Maybe it's written on the front. Hang on a minute. No, it's for Katie and Susan.
And it's the Indian guy. It's the famous Indian guy. So anyway, we'll come back to that in a minute. I don't know. I've not read it. Anybody else read the fact that it was written as a?
It's I'm reading it. I'm reading it right now. It's in my book. It's an homage to the late Ismail Merchant.
That's it, Ishmael Merchant. That's it.
Merchant.
Oh, okay.
Because Ishmael suggested ages ago to Richard Morais that he ought to write something that would combine put together on paper that combined
With his love of filmmaking. There we go.
Combined love of Indian food and French food, because they both loved both cuisines. So Richard started writing it, but before he finished it, Ismail Merchant died. So the book is a tribute to him. But I don't know. Perhaps you're right. It was written as a screenplay. I hadn't actually read that anywhere.
I was just wondering, just because of the way it was. Oh, sorry, Emma.
Sorry. I think the eventual idea was to make it into a different format. So I think that's just how it kind of they thought it was going to end up being, which it has.
That's where it was heading to. Okay. Lisa, you were going to say?
Oh, no, I don't remember. No, I don't remember. I mentioned I was just going to say what Emma just said, basically. Just reading the acknowledgements in the back, it sounds like the idea was that they were going to make it into a movie afterwards, but his friend died. But they didn't. So...
I was going to say one of the first things that got me. I agree with what you said. You know, the first half of the novel was fabulous. Second half let it down ever so slightly. Well, let it down. And the description, for those of us who've lived in Paris, you know, we know that okay, it could be better. And as we said in the green room just now, what was all that about the French labor laws and all that? What did that have to do with the whole, you know, concept, themes of the book? I don't get.
Yeah.
But the language right at the start got me, and I wanted to read this because it was. I read this book a couple of years ago, first time it came out, and like Emma, in a day, it's such easy reading for those of you who haven't read it out there. Okay. So he started talking about the Indian food and the smells and the machli ka salan, the fish curry. And then when they arrived in London, I loved this. And it was on these seats that I had my first taste of England, a chilled and soggy egg salad. Plastic. It is the bread in particular that I remember, the way it dissolved on my tongue. Never before had I experienced anything so determinedly tasteless, wet and white.
Yeah, that was very good, actually.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny.
And true.
Annabelle, as a displaced English person, what have you got to say about that?
Oh my goodness! Now you're going to get me really started. Well, the funny thing is, when you're not in your own country, you find yourself, do you find this, like you really start defending it?
Yeah.
But when I'm in England, I'm ready to slag them off. So I guess I'm in the position of defending the English because I'm sitting here in America right now. I think it's high time somebody wrote a food novel about England, perhaps they already have, you know, that celebrates the greatness of English food. How's that?
Hey, actually, I'll just say this to you. I mean, I live in the UK out of choice, not because I have to. I met my husband here, we didn't meet elsewhere, and we decided to come and stay here. He's English. But Lisa might have noticed this over the last year, or almost 2 years that I've been with Foodies Plus. Every time someone slags English food, I'm right down their throat telling them off. It's true, because I think British food has gone a long way in the last 20 years, but it's just a description. You just had to laugh.
No, it is. We can all imagine it. You can see that cellophane like tight over that bread and everything. That was well written. Yeah,
it was.
Everyone's had one of those sandwiches. Everyone.
That's right. It's I'll ask you guys a question then. What do you think? I mean, Hassan's father is larger than life, like Madame Mallory. I don't know. That's probably not how you pronounce it in French, Madame Mallory. But it's the women in his lives, perhaps, who have a greater influence on him. Do you think, Emma? I'll pose that question to you.
Yeah, it probably does because he's very the patriarch, but then it's the women who sort of come in. It's the grandma, it's the wife. Yeah, it's a really interesting dynamic, I think, through the book, and then how Hassan has his own sort of relationships and how he's almost so secretive because that might have been how he's kind of grown up, and yeah, that's not a very helpful answer.
Lisa, what do you think of that?
Well, actually, I saw a lot of. Okay, I had to go to Italian society because I know that, but I saw a lot of parallels with Italy. That the man is the one that thinks he's in charge, and he blusters, and he goes, and he talks, and he orders. But it's the woman, especially the older, the grandmother, the mother. They are the ones that actually really are in charge, and they do what they want to do. And the guy blusters and is pacified by food or by something else, and is kind of manipulated to thinking he got the way he wanted. But actually, it's not him at all. It's the woman that are in charge, always. I don't know Indian culture very well, but it seems very similar to the Italian way of being. It's a matriarchal culture.
Perhaps it is that way in most cultures, but it's just the man thinks he wears the trousers, but perhaps it's like that everywhere. Annabelle, what do you think about the influence of the women in his life, in Hassan's life?
Well, I don't know. Well, I mean, I've only read 52% of the book.
According to Kindle, yeah, okay.
Well, that's the bit that counts, though. I mean, that's the bit that counts.
So for the moment, I'm only thinking of the father as having been influenced by the death of his wife. I haven't really, and that he's reacting to Madame Mallory, but I wouldn't say he was being influenced by her. I'm sort of looking for a spoiler. I'm wondering if the Indian father and Mallory get married at the end. Do they?
Oh, we're not going to tell you.
I didn't see. I didn't look.
Not telling. Our lips are sealed. Our lips are sealed. But I was just thinking of the book itself. Because lots of people, I think people hadn't heard of the 100-Foot Journey until the movie came out, and a lot of people think about it just purely as a food book. But is it a coming of age book? Is it a book about how one finds oneself or find one's calling in life when that calling goes against one's upbringing, one's culture, and certainly one's religion in Hassan's case?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know you've only read halfway. You've read the book halfway, Annabelle. So far, what you've read, I mean, with them running and so on, where did you actually stop? Are they in London? Are they in France yet? Where you stopped in the book?
They're in France, and they just went on sort of like a little mini hunt, and they killed a boar.
Okay, quite a bit. Oh, yeah. Mm. Okay.
It was a young one, and they were angry with her for doing that.
Yeah.
Mm.
And she said something like, "Oh, but isn't it fun to have power over the young ones?" or something. It was kind of creepy.
And he thought that she was looking at him when she said that.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe I'm a little bit further because I think he. Oh no, I think I'm further than that. The little boy was in an accident and went to hospital.
Oh yeah.
After she burned his. She threw something and the oil burnt his. And that's sort of the turning point in their relationship, I believe. Lisa, what do you think? I mean, what do you think is the true message of the book?
Well, that was the thing that actually I found got the problem with the writing, actually, because they tried to cram too many things into one book. I think it was a coming-of-age story, very much, and a finding your calling story. And then, of course, there was the food, and there was the girlfriend, and she kind of disappeared halfway through, and there were kind of too many things. But I think the basis was really the fact that it was about Hassan moving. He moves to a new country when he's young, and he changes because of the culture around him, which is not the culture that his father and his grandmother and have still, and he changes and he becomes a different person, and it's about them accepting him and him accepting still that they are still like they were, and he's changed. So yeah, it is about a coming of age, but it does get clouded with a lot of other dross, I think.
Do you think there is one thing I don't quite get? It is that the chef who dies, who kills himself. What's his name?
Yeah, I didn't see the point of him.
Yes.
Honestly,
that's it.
I didn't see the point of him. What was he there for?
Emma, do you see his role? I don't get his role, apart from gratuitously bringing in a real life event, because there was a French chef who killed himself in the early 200s, suicide. Actually, I think he shot himself because he was about. There were rumors that he was about to lose his 3rd Michelin star. So,
I think they have, because they've had so many big events through the book. I think they had to have another event that really changed everything, because otherwise he would have kind of cruised along doing quite well. It's quite hard because you don't want to give anything away. So I think they had to have something, and they obviously saw that and thought that would be amazing, that would be perfect. And yeah, it was a bit random, but then I think life can be a bit like that, can't it? So maybe that's what they were kind of going for when they were writing it.
Do you think it was
crazy?
Do you think it was like the tool, a vehicle for his elevation, for Hassan's elevation, because it was his celebration dinner?
Yeah, that made this name.
Elevated his status. It was also his suicide that got Hassan rethinking his menu. I can't remember. Was that when he?
Yeah, it was.
It got him rethinking the whole way that he was packaging the food, the whole way that he was cooking. But it was another kind of turning point. So you sort of had through the novel, you know, him in his dad's kitchen, and then him in Mallory's kitchen. And so I think there had to be another big kind of wow moment almost. They'd obviously seen that and thought, that'll be perfect, we'll use that.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, I think it would have, well, that's just my personal opinion, that actually they should have expanded the first part and had more about the French versus Indian culture and being in the small village, and they could have made the last part, which somebody told me they have done in the movie, but as I said, I haven't seen it. They could have made the last part really short, like just oh yeah, and then he moves to Paris, and then other things happen, which I'm not going to say because for those who haven't read the book.
I know we might have kind of given some stuff away for poor Annabelle, but hey.
No, I'm fine with it. I like hearing there. I think there's so many ways to get into a book that it's fine. You can spoil everything for me. Go right ahead.
All right, we're coming up actually almost to the half-hour mark. 5 minutes to go. What I'm going to do is, it's quite strange. I was thinking before we started this, I was thinking, 30 minutes. I hope we've got enough things to talk about. And here we are. We've got so much to talk about, and we're almost at the 30-minute mark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you, what was your so far, Annabelle? You've only read half of the book. What was your favorite part so far?
Oh, I do have a favorite, but it's a personal reaction. It's not really about the book so much.
Okay. You want to share it, or?
Sure. Yeah, I was just so shocked. I'd never seen Southall in a book before.
No.
I know Southall. I lived in Ealing.
Perfectly.
I lived in Ealing, Emma, which is not so far from you. And my uncle had 2 bicycle shops in Southall, and he used to tell us stories of Indian families, like maybe 3 generations coming in together, like filling out the shop, and they were looking at one bike for, say, an 8-year-old or something, and grandma and everybody had a point of view and needed to say something, and so I never expected to see Southall on the page of a novel. It just didn't occur to me. So that was my favourite bit. It got me a big rise out of me.
So funny. Emma, what was your favourite part?
Possibly that one. Whenever I do reviews on my blog, I always like to do a picture of the book that I've read, like contextually. So I actually went to Southall and got a really one because I thought this is fabulous. I could do a beautiful sort of panorama, but this is actually a bit more true to the book. I think possibly my favourite moment is right at the very, very end where when he comes home from sort of work and what he eats is his favourite childhood food, and I think that really struck a chord with me. Also being an expat, that, you know, sometimes home comforts are just so wonderful, no matter what else is going on. I think I really loved that. That was really sweet, I thought.
Okay. And Lisa?
Yeah, well, actually, there are quite a few bits that I like, but one, which again, if you're talking about chords resonating with from personal experience, the description of how the French, when they moved to the little village, and how the French people react to the big Indian loud family that are so colourful and so gregarious. I really like that because I can see it. I mean, I see it all around me every day, and so I could see the village. I could see the people. I could imagine exactly what particularly the French people acted like and looked like, and their reactions. And actually, that I did find really well written in the book because they got it exactly like how people are here. So I really liked that very much.
Okay.
Excellent. How about you, Aslin? What was your favourite bit?
You know, I have so many, and most of them are the food-related ones.
Yeah.
The description of I mean, some of it was sort of cringeworthy, but all the food-related ones I thoroughly enjoyed when they sat down to a meal. I mean, I've got a line here actually. We had wild asparagus served with fagioli fat slabs of beef. And laughter, always laughter, or words to that effect, you know. So it's always the celebration, the food bits that just resonated with me particularly. It's strange because I don't look at it as a food book, but it's the food descriptions, it's the recipes that really spoke to me. But one single favorite moment, like Emma, the last bit where he was leaving and he smelled the fishery. And yes, I totally got that because it's quite funny because all four of us are really, you know, transplanted, aren't we? You know, we don't live in our original homes, and some of us have traveled more than others. And but yeah, as much as I cannot go back and live in my home country, there are certain things, that spark off memories, and reminds me of home. And that particular scene was almost brought tears to my eyes.
Oh.
I really, really did enjoy that. Any final words about the book, ladies?
Did they have any recipes actually in there? Because I was thinking I think maybe you, Aslin, was saying, you know, people will actually cook a book, and I thought, how would you do that? Where's the recipe? I don't see it.
It was okay. Oh, actually, let me give credit where it's due. This book, here we are. This book was the idea of a book that had food descriptions in it, not recipes, was suggested by Emma.
Oh, yes, it was.
Do you remember? Emma said that. So, and it just so happened that someone had brought to my attention the movie, The 100-Foot Journey. So I pinged Emma and I said, hey, I think this book would be perfect. I had read it and I knew what it was about. It was a good book. And Emma said, right, let's go with that. Because Emma suggested in our reading room, for a change, that we would read the book as well as cook a recipe that's mentioned in it.
But it's such a perfect book because there's such a variety of food. I mean, I read it and I was like, this is incredible. Like, and I haven't been able to pick just one recipe, and I know she's done the same. She's sort of picked a few in a few different places. And I'm like, well, which one do I do?
It's quite funny because right at the start, the Machlika Salan, the fish curry, I went, I'm making my smoked salmon curry for this one. So I did. I even cooked it on Simply Singapore last weekend. But and then I've also made the French omelette cake, layered cake. I've also made that, which wasn't the omelette mentioned in the book, but omelette was mentioned in the book. So I made an omelette.
Yeah,
so that's how we did it. That's how we did it, basically, Annabelle. We
Yeah, well, as I said, I read it, but for me, but I will put it up as as soon as the work in our house stops in the next couple of days. But I read about the goat cheese and pistachio souffle, and I thought, I don't know, it was one that just stuck out. It was one of the things I remembered of all the recipes. I thought, okay, right, that's the one I'm going to make, and it was so good.
Oh my goodness. Isn't souffle really hard to do?
Oh, you wait. It's not hard.
No, it's not. No, it's like pastry. It's a conspiracy to let you think it's hard.
Difficult. You'll see. I'll put it up in the next couple of days, and I'll give you all the tricks, and there aren't very many. It's not.
Who's going to make the bull's testicles?
Oh no. I could buy some here, but I'm not gonna make.
Oh, what's that? Oh, didn't they have rats? Rats, right? They had rats, didn't they?
There was mention of rats. Yeah, and there was.
Was it? It was from the Gastronomie Larousse, if I'm not wrong. And I think the book suggests that you should find cellar rats because they are cleaner.
Yes.
Wasn't it rats that from a from the wine basement?
The wine cellars, because they've been drinking the wine.
That's it, because they were healthier. That's so funny. That's so funny.
Can I ask a question? I know we're over time, but why is it called 100-foot journey?
Oh my God! Thank you, Annabelle.
Very good. It's because he starts his journey of discovery by moving just across the road to the Michelin-starred restaurant. I think it's 100 feet. It says it somewhere. It's 100 feet across the road.
And really, it's one of the deeper questions of the book as well, because it's not just him who takes the 100-foot journey, but so does his mentor, so does his father, his sister Margaret. So they all have their own 100-foot journeys within the book.
Yeah, so although the canvas is big, it's as if you're going from country to country and every journey is huge. It turns out that the biggest journey are the small ones.
Well, usually it's the ones inside your head that are the most important.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Well
the mental
said.
landscape.
Well said, Annabelle. The biggest journey are the small ones. Okay, and on that note, that ends our first, our 100-foot journey discussion. But I just wanted to say he's got a new book, Brooklyn Buddha or Buddha Brooklyn or words to that effect, written Morais, and apparently that's pretty good as well. If you guys want to try out another one of his books, I wrote the title down somewhere. But anyway, just go to his website and the title and the book is there, Buddha something Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have one more question. Are you going to watch the movie? That's going to be an interesting one.
Have you seen it, Emma? Or not yet?
No. I was literally reading the book and I walked out of the tube and there was an enormous poster and I was just like, oh, okay.
The trailer looks very good, doesn't it, for the movie? I must confess, I want to watch the movie for the food.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Seeing the food come to life, I really, really want to.
No, I'm curious to see the movie as well.
Definitely.
No,
All right,
I don't want to watch it in French, though. I might wait till I can see it in original version.
In English.
Yeah, I don't know, because it might be a bit too one-sided if the French people are really speaking French. I don't know.
You have to watch both for us and then tell us how it goes.
Yeah.
The translation might not be quite good. Alrighty, folks. For those of you who have been watching us in the audience, thank you so much. I know I didn't take any comments or mention anyone, but thank you so much for watching. And to Annabelle, Emma, and Lisa, thank you for reviewing the 100-foot journey. So I think the bottom line is we all enjoyed the book. There were parts that we didn't, but overall it was a good book to read. And more importantly, for the reluctant readers, it is an easy read, really an easy read. The first time I read it, I did it in a couple of hours. And Emma did it in a day. So it's a very easy read. So join us again. We will be doing these book reviews in the reading room once a month, as we do in our community. It is a community, so if you'd like to join us, just contact any one of us, Annabelle, Lisa, myself, Emma, Julia. We're all in the community to find out how to get involved. We shall see you again in about a month's time. Goodbye, everyone. Say bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.